Hello everyone, my name is Victoria Perry and this is Old Neptune. A word of advice, you might want to remember my last name, Perry, for later on in this video. Old Neptune is a taxidermied northern fur seal on display at the New Bedford Whaling Museum. While alive, Old Neptune was featured in Barnum's American Museum in New York City in the mid-19th century. Before founding his traveling circus, eventually to become the famous Barnum and Bailey's Traveling Circus, the American Museum was P.T. Barnum's original vessel for astounding the masses with the oddest of oddities. Old Neptune was featured as a live exhibit along with other fantastical animals such as the famous Jumbo the elephant. In fact, the founding of Barnum's American Museum is shown in the motion picture The Greatest Showman, starring Hugh Jackman and Zac Efron. Old Neptune came into P.T. Barnum's possession through a man called Old Grizzly Adams. Old Adams, as Barnum used to call him, was a famous hunter and trapper from California. During his adventures in the wild, he collected and trained grizzly bears and other wild animals, including a certain famous furry seal. This hobby led him to abandon hunting and began working in show business with his trained animals in San Francisco. Due to a fight with a grizzly bear, Old Adams sustained a horrendous head injury from which he would never recover. Before he died, he and his circus moved to New York and struck an agreement with P.T. Barnum. Old Adams was allowed to perform shows at Barnum's museum, and when Adams died, P.T. Barnum was allowed to use his animals as exhibits in the museum. Barnum was famously fond of creating fantastical stories concerning his exhibits. Old Neptune was not saved from receiving the same treatment. Old Neptune was advertised to be the great black sea lion, the monarch of the ocean, and was said to be captured and brought to the States by Elisha Kent Kane on his famous Arctic exploration voyage to Greenland. These claims were later proved to be untrue, as Old Neptune is a northern fur seal and not a sea lion. And Greenland is located in the North Atlantic Ocean, and northern fur seals are found in the North Pacific. Once Old Neptune croaked and was taxidermied, our furry friend was taken to Barnum's Museum of Natural History at Tufts University. He was then transferred to Perry's Nut House in Belfast, Maine. It's funny, I don't remember seeing him at any of my Perry family gatherings. He was later moved to Kendall Whaling Museum in Sharon, Massachusetts, and then he finally made his home here at the New Bedford Whaling Museum. Old Neptune did not always look as cuddly as he does now. He used to be kept outside of a glass case, and visitors were known to steal his tongue and hide it around the museum. He also has other more recent claim to fame. Pictures of Old Neptune can be found on Facebook and Twitter under a site called Crap Taxidermy. 3 years ago, he was restored and found a new home in a glass case where his tongue stays in his mouth. Thank you so much for taking the time to learn more about Old Neptune. Please visit him here at the New Bedford Whaling Museum. On behalf of Old Neptune and the entire Whaling Museum staff, we would love to have you. Bye everyone!